before we get into anything, I just want to say Young Han's a very good, dear friend of mine. And honestly, I was completely appalled and shocked when I found out he was a DC fan. And I just want to say, man, you're full of shit from the get-go.
I want to say he was never a friend of mine. Further, Superman and Batman are the greatest characters in Western civilization since Hercules and Jesus. Point.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know where to go with that.
That's because I'm right.
I wouldn't say you're right.
Unequivocally right, actually. The difference is you're wrong. Marvel characters cannot aid in the voyage the same way the DC characters can.
In
There's
your
a
opinion,
reason.
But
not in my opinion.
I've never ever been able to connect to Batman or Superman or Wonder Woman the same way I've been able to connect to Captain America and Spider-Man.
Except those characters.
These characters I relate to. Spider-Man is one of the most popular comic books because of the fact that he deals with issues and he has problems, and he's not some great superhero that always saves the day. He has problems, his family's fucked up, his life's fucked up, and he's a character you can relate to. I've never ever been able to relate to Batman and his Boy Scout goodness, or Superman, his uber darkness. Like, there's no common ground. But I can relate to Spider-Man, and I can relate to all these different characters in the Marvel Universe because they're written towards me, not at me.
Yes, Bruce Wayne, whose parents were shot in front of him in Crime Alley when he was 8 years old, does not have a f***ed-up family life. That's a great point.
I don't relate to that because my parents are still alive and they love me. Lasted like a year and a half. Or the death of Superman. He died and he came back. What the shit was that, Young Han?
Oh, or like how Spider-Man was a clone, and then he wasn't a clone, and then his clone was the real Spider-Man. Oh, then he turned into sand. Spider-Man was always the one we knew. Or how about when Spider-Man was like, hey, Mary Jane, I'm a teacher. You know, you and I were married. This is great. Oh, hey, I'll sell our marriage to the devil so I can be in the exact same place I was in high school.
Did you read that comic book?
I read that comic, and it smelled like shit, and it tasted like your mother. My point is...
My mother tastes nice, and it made me cry. I thought it was a beautiful comedy.
Funny story, my mother also came into this world in 1960. I would not call her new or fresh.
Yeah, she needs to be revamped.
I think you need to be revamped. Furthermore, I do not think newness or revampedness necessarily equates to quality of character.
No, but you can't have a character from the 1930s be the same in the modern day. They need to change with their environment. And I know you don't like that about Marvel, and that's what they constantly do, is that they change their characters to adapt to their modern environment. Sure,
your
Batman,
implication...
Sure,
no. Your implication that DC comic characters have not
you got
changed
nothing
since
there.
1948 is profoundly retarded. What I'm trying... In case you haven't noticed, Batman, Superman, etc. I rather like the word retarded.
No, I think it's offensive.
See, it's not offensive. The reason being...
If you look up retarded, you'll have like people mentally handicapped and people that read DC
you'll
comics.
Have your
it's
picture
very insulted.
Next to the definition
I beat you to that
retarded.
Joke. I beat you to that joke.
You did beat me to that joke. However, I have a little brother who's retarded. So if either of us is going to get disappointed, it's me. And I'm not, because that would be retarded. Over the years, the comic companies have not been consistent, distinct, or... God, what's the word I'm looking for? Furthermore, with Superman, there are a few things that have remained consistent. He has superpowers. He wears his initials on his chest. That's the character. Yeah, okay, and maybe that's...
And he has the Boy Scout stuff, and he's like this great guy that everyone loves.
He also has the loneliness, the crushing loneliness of being alone on a planet of people he cannot possibly...
That's why they have Supergirl, Superboy, the Superdog Crypto.
You cannot...
over time, they keep building up his family.
Superboy was a clone. Supergirl is from another planet. And Superdog is a motherfucking dog. How am I going to relate to a dog? It doesn't have thumb! Like, think about that.
But it can fly, man.
That is absurd.
It can fly.
I can walk, a dog can walk, you can walk. I can't relate to you because your opinion is flat out wrong. I cannot relate to a dog because a dog does not have opinions. It thinks sniffing butts is a good idea. How on earth would you relate to a dog? How on earth does that even approach a coherent argument?
They take up this loneliness and then they just kind of like, oh, there, now you're not alone anymore.